Hi there, it's Mandy, and welcome back. Today we are going to be furnishing the second side of my current household's townhouse. In case you missed part one, there is going to be a link in the description below, but as far as a quick recap goes, basically my current household consisted of two single mothers and their daughters, and then both the daughters got married, and now I can't choose between the two heirs to carry on this next generation. And at this point, your girl is way too invested in, theirs and their husband's storylines. So, I built the townhouse just so I can kind of play both their stories separately, but kind of at the same time, if that makes any sense at all to you. But spoiler alert! By the time you guys are watching this, I have actually already started with building a single family home. Because one of the girls had a baby, and then Risky Woohoo came into play, and then cursed the other one with twins. Which, let's be honest here, that felt like more of a curse to me. And then I decided, these people need a dog. So at that point, we just decided I'm gonna carry on this legacy with Amber. And she's the one we talked about in part one. And even though we already made the decision to carry on the legacy with her, today's episode is about her cousin Casey and furnishing this side of the house. So getting into that, here we are in the kitchen. And a lot of stuff you're gonna see me fudge, like right here. I put bar stools in front of this half wall just so it looked like they had a bar, which they don't. And I can tell you from my gameplay, they do actually sit there and eat, but they hold the plate while they eat. And instead of putting any of the dishes in the sink or the dishwasher or anything like that, they just put it on the edge of the half wall, and it just sits there. And honestly, they do go out of their way to put it on that half wall. I'm like, you literally just can't leave it sitting on the table or like the coffee table or the counter. You have to walk all the way over here just to put it down. If you're gonna walk over here, just put it in the sink. And yes, of course, I do just drag it into the trash or the sink or the dishwasher just to get it out of the way like a normal human does. But it still doesn't make it any less irritating. I'm just saying. So, I'm just giving you, a PSA, think twice about getting a half wall like this, because they are aggravating as anything with it. Alright, now that that's off my chest, I can get a little bit more into the details of this build. So for whatever reason, I was really indecisive with this side, which you'll probably see me scrolling, and I actually edited a lot of it out. But if you still see me aimlessly scrolling, that's why. I'm not sure if it's just because I was really conscientious about trying to make both sides different, because technically it is two separate families, it technically is two separate homes, so I really didn't want them to kind of mirror each other as far as design and decorations go. But I can honestly say I probably was experiencing a little bit of building fatigue, just because my gameplay was kind of on hold and I couldn't really continue anything without moving into this house. I'm sure y'all know how it is, once you get so bored with everything in the house in particular, and you're playing with elders who don't really do too much, and then you have this absurd amount of money that even going to work and the challenges and kind of the excitement wears off about it. Like even this Sim Casey, when she got married, I didn't realize her husband had like $4 million. So when I had him move into the household, it was kind of like, oh, okay. So I just had him buy this house, didn't have to use any free real estate cheats, and then I bankrupted him. But once everything is said and done, this house does end up being about $110,000, I think. Which technically, if it is considered two separate houses, two separate incomes, that's actually really not too bad. And that's fully furnished. I think their bills ended up being only about five grand and change, which I was actually really surprised about. But I do that whole auto lights on thing. And I do have them try to do a little bit more conservation, just because the other household's husband works in that eco-living career. I'm really familiar with it, can't you tell? But anyway, a little bit more about our household. So like I said, like 3 times now, this heir's name is Casey. She is the cousin of Amber. She is married to Devin Sherrill. And Casey's, I want to say it's great grandfather. Actually, might be three greats. Great grandfather. And Devin's great grandfather were roommates back when they went to Ubright. Actually, I'm just going to pop a picture right in here for you because I know you care just so deeply. But on the left, we have Sean, I want to say his name was. That was Devin's great-great-great-grandfather. And on the right, we have Max, who was Casey's great-great-great-grandfather. And I'm going to be honest, the only reason I even remember that is because Kawaii Stacy, she's the one who does the Slice of Life mod. She actually came out with the platform as a literal Simstagram, which was kind of like a roleplay type thing. And Max was the sim that I roleplayed because that was just happened to be the generation that I was on when that came out. And that little Simstagram platform's actually what got me into doing the whole post player thing to begin with. So it was kind of a blessing and a lesson in disguise. So Casey is a mixologist, and Devin actually works part-time at in the fast food business because he's going to university right now to get his degree in culinary arts. They're the ones who were blessed with twins, both girls, and I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to play 4 Sims, 2 of them being infants and toddlers, and send another one to university. So that's where my decision was made. But one thing that you might notice about this build is that this layout is a little bit different than the other side of the townhouse. And just like the other side, I tried to stay as true to the layout on the listing as possible. And this one just happened to be a little bit different than the other. So that's what we went with. I do think convenience-wise, I like this layout a little bit better than the other one, just because there's a lot of bathrooms and it's a lot easier to move everybody around, and there's a lot more showers, and the shape's a little bit funky, and I will honestly tell you I was a little bit confused just because this side has the office in the front of the house, whereas the other side has the office in the back of the house. So when it came time to them going on the computers and all that fun stuff, I did kind of get lost. And just like the other side, we're customizing, we're using, the posed photos that I always use because like I said before, I like making my home a little bit more personalized. And there's gonna be a kissing photo that I put on the wall, which I'm obsessed with, and I think it's the cutest picture. It just looks so professional, and just the background, oh my god, I'm obsessed with the photo. And like I said last time, I'll link in the description below the post player that I use and the link to the page of the person's poses that I always download. Oh, and if you saw last video, I can honestly tell you that what is the word I'm looking for? Words are hard today. The table that I did that looked really squished, the table that I used that is fully functional, thank God. The only downside to me not being able to expand the house anymore is that I don't have a kitchen table in this build. It's actually in the living room. Oh, and here's that picture I was talking about. Oh, look how cute it is. Oh my god, I love it. Got sidetracked. But yeah, I mean, I always could expand. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. I could have always expanded, I guess, the house. But at that point, I was just so invested. I just didn't want to do the shell anymore. I just wanted to decorate. And yes, those heart boxes I did use twice. I didn't notice it till I was actually playing. And I mean, I guess expand and extend, they both work. Right? Kind of 6 in one, half a dozen the other. I think at least. And on the right there, we have another prom-inspired photo, again, to emphasize that they were high school sweethearts. And fun fact, when I moved Devin into the house, on top of having 4 mil, he also had a girlfriend from a different household. So naturally, my petty self brought them to the Sims music session, the Sim Sessions Music Festival. I think it's the halfway marks of these these furnishings or these longer voiceovers that my mind goes blank. But yes, I had them go to the Sims Sessions Music Festival, and I had Devin propose to Casey right in front of the girlfriend from the other household. But they weren't officially dating, they just had a high romance bar, so I would say oops, but it's something I 100% did myself. I don't know what to tell you guys. And then discreetly, I had to ask her to just be friends, but of course now since we had such a high romance bar, our friendship was high. Apparently she had kids that Devin was fond of, and now they all still come to the house, and I just ignore him when they show up. I could just kill them. Well, maybe not the kid. I'm not gonna kill the kid, but I can kill his mother. But then he doesn't have a father, because I think he was spawned by a random townie that just showed up one day in my game. Because I have MC Command Center, and it tends to just populate the world out of nowhere because of the risky woohoo. I mean, I guess whiskey could help too, but oh my god, one time, so I used to do the self woohoo mod in here, and I had somebody die, and the Grim Reaper came, and the Grim Reaper took the dead sim away, and the next thing you know, I hear like the self woohoo sound, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then I look, and it's literally the Grim Reaper in the dead sim's bed. Like, talk about being unprofessional at your job. I mean, damn. Oh my god, there's so many jokes in so little time, but we're just gonna move on from that story. So it looks like we are now finished with the house itself, and we're going to go to the community areas of the home. So obviously we share a back porch. They are cousins, so they are family. And of course, 2 separate households. They each have a recycling bin and a trash bin. And I figured, you know, once spring and summer come along, or we have our little Independence Day cookout, the whole family's going to be together for it. So the shared porch does work. There is only one grill, but sharing is caring. What can I say? Now, you want to see a mess going on. Wait until... Oh, are we going there now? We're going there now, guys. Oh my god. I could not, for the life of me, figure out these lights. They're the perfect space away from each other, that nothing worked between these 2 doors, adding anything in between. So I just went with that gap in between, because it is what it is. And everything else I tried, as you can see, looked stupid. So I figured when it's dark, it does still look stupid, but I would rather have that little space in between than have them overlapping each other or anything like that. And we are in the last room of this build. Obviously, it's a basement. It's going to be cluttered. And not only is it going to be cluttered, it's going to be full of crap and full of random stuff. Casey's going to have that on her side of the house because her mother, who just recently passed away, she used to do paintings and sell them on Plopsy. We're also storing our suitcases because that's where some people store their suitcases, my house included. And then for whatever reason, this just wasn't cooperating with me, so we just threw it up into a random closet upstairs that apparently is empty. And we did end up having to put a wall in between the stairs to keep the separate sides of the house because I couldn't stand anymore having them walk down all the way down to the basement to turn around and go all the way back up to get to the other side of the house. It was just an absolute nightmare. But it looks like we are just about to hit our screenshots. So we are at the end of this little mini furnishing session, I guess. So I do just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me. Feel free to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!